Hello, this is London calling. I would like to inform you that you are about to listen to a podcast. The views of the host and the guests reflect only their own and not that of the community as a whole. I hope you enjoy the podcast. And now, Eddie, with his band, will play the banter section.
Oh, now we have lines.
You have lines? Oh, that's
good. I have
good.
lines.
You have lines.
No audio lines, but a line.
Bex,
okay.
I trust you to like ruin this illusion that this is a high octane, highly produced podcast.
Yeah, get on my level.
Get on your level. Jesus Christ. I mean, there's Jem sitting there just patiently waiting, and like, all you can talk about is lines. I see lines.
Oh no, I'm going into the Spiderverse.
Oh God.
I'm so sorry, Eddie.
Are you though? Are you sorry?
No.
No, I didn't think so. James, you're going to help me out on this podcast, right?
Yeah, someone's got to.
Oh, thank goodness. Thank God someone's on my side for once. Jesus Christ. Hello, everybody. This is the Talks About Podcast, a weekly podcast talking about Comic-Con, cosplay, and everything else. I'm your host, Eddie. And this week, we are doing the good, the bad, and the ugly review of Across the Spiderverse. That's right, we're doing a movie review. Woo! Woo! What hell of a... Those are the worst, woohoos delayed ever to my pod. Jesus Christ.
We're just doing atmospheric woos. That's what happens.
Oh, atmospheric woos. Oh, that's... What do you mean? Yeah!
Yeah! Excitement.
Excitement. Anyway, right. So, as you've heard, we are going to be talking about Across the Spiderverse. That's been, from our perspective, it's been about a week release. So, you've had at least 1 week to go and see this film. And I will give you a spoiler warning, but if you've at this junction gone, I haven't seen this film yet, but I want to proceed to listen, it is up to you, but I would advise you to pause the podcast. Pause it? No, stop the podcast. Go see the film. And I've done it again, haven't I? Because if you just press pause or stop, you're not going to hear the rest of this bit. Anyway, so I'm going to do a welfare check on my guests. I'll do it alphabetically. Bex, how are you? How's things with you?
I'm good. I am living the Spiderverse right now, but all good.
Is that a little spoiler to how you feel about the film?
Yeah, a little bit, and all the opportunities that have been given to me through my door, so I'm kind of grateful.
We'll talk about that in a minute. We'll talk about that later. Jesus Christ, James, what about you? How have you been the last 7 days?
Yeah, it's been good. I had a little trip to London at the start of the week with my mum, and then just been recovering from that all week.
Okay then. Cool. All right then. And we're going to ask me?
How are you doing, Eddie?
That doesn't feel sincere now. Jesus Christ.
Okay, hang on a second. Wait. Let's restart this like Eddie started this about...
Whoa. Don't give away the secret that I had 2 attempts for that intro.
Wait. How are you, Eddie?
Oh, that felt better. I am currently sweating my balls off. And that's not even metaphorically. Literally, the weather has been so hot, so humid. I'm reading, 22 degrees in my home? And yeah, I am currently dying of heat. Heat, melting, and sunlight. Yeah, everything. Just everything. So if I put that image in your head that's of my sweaty balls, you are most welcome.
Save it for the OnlyFans.
Do I have an OnlyFans?
I'm not subscribed.
James, you've subscribed to everything else. You might as well subscribe to that one.
I've only got so much money.
I don't know how I feel about that. So, okay then. Well, as I mentioned, we're doing a Across the Spiderverse review, and in the same style as I did the MCM review, because I enjoyed the format of the good and the bad and the ugly. So I thought I'll keep that going. And I haven't done a movie review, and I took the advice of my friend Andy, who also does podcasting. He said, you should only review what you enjoy and what you want to talk about. So that's why I haven't done a movie review in a while, because I was going to do one for Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, What's the other one? Ant-Man and Quantumania, but one I've seen, one I haven't, and yeah, I've been a bit downer about MCU films at the moment.
Really, I hadn't noticed.
Look, I'll give you a quick review of Eternals. The title of that film felt like how I watched that film. It felt like it went on forever. It was an eternity to get to that film. Jesus Christ.
Your hatred for that film is eternal.
Oh my God, it really is. Jesus Christ. Oh God. Oh, I hate that film. It was like so... I mean, anyone who pitches that film any higher than... I still don't know what's worse. Thor The Dark World or Eternal. You know, anyway, let's not do that. So, I'm going to do a quick synopsis, and then at that junction, it is up to you to carry on listening. Then I'll give you a spoiler warning, and we'll go from there, all right? So, anyone who's like interested in Across the Spiderverse, it came out this year, a couple of weeks ago, and the synopsis of this film goes by as... after reuniting with Gwen Stacy, Brooklyn's full-time friendly neighborhood Spider-Man is catapulted across the multiverse, where he encounters a team of spider people charged with protecting its very existence. However, when the heroes clash on how to handle a new threat, Miles finds himself pitted against the other spiders. He must soon redefine what it means to be a hero so he can save the people he loves the most. How's that for a description?
That was very, very well done, yeah.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Didn't sound like you read it at all.
No, I think no one's going to pretend that came off my head. I think everyone knows I've read that off Google, all right? So I have no issue that people know that.
Good job, Google. Good job.
Oh, yes, yeah, pat on the back for Google. So on that note, I will give you your last chance as a spoiler warning. If you are so far haven't seen this film and you're still listening to this podcast, be on your head. This is your fault, that we're talking about it now. But like I said, if you plan to listen to this, pause it, come back to it when you've finished it. It'd be great to share your opinion on this. So, like I said, we're going to do the good and the bad and the ugly, and we'll all take each turn to do a good and a bad, and if there's any uglies as well. And when we mean by ugly, like real damn right dirty, that you feel like I feel shortchanged by this film and all that. So, and then bads bads I can live with, but it's just a little gripe about the film, nitpicking, things like that. And the good obviously is what we loved about the film. So, before we do the good and the bad, the ugly, Bex, what is how excited were you for this film before you saw the opening credits?
Very excited.
Hang on, kids, just sit back, relax. This is gonna take a bit of time to explain.
So I'm a huge Spider-Man fan, and for anyone that knows me, Spider-Man has been my one superhero growing up that I have read pretty much every single comic. We are going through I've read about 120 universes of Spider-Man. So when Into the Spider-Verse came out, I let up a little sigh and squeal, and it was phenomenal. And then Across the Spider-Verse came out, and when it aired to say that there were multiple universes and multiple comics being added in, I literally just fainted a little bit, because I was like, I'm this is my movie. This is what my whole childhood is drummed up to be. I've read all these comics for a purpose. It is this film. I was very excited.
I can tell. Yes. Oh God, Gems, can you follow that up, or are you just like me, like a passerby?
Yeah, I'm more of a DC girl than a Marvel girl comics wise, but Spider-Man's always been the one Marvel superhero I've been mostly into, because when I was a kid, we obviously had the Tobey Maguire films coming out, and also there was the PlayStation games, comic-based games, and then the movie tie-in games that I really enjoyed. And so I think the reason I enjoyed Spider-Man so much is it's got a really good rogues gallery, kind of like Batman. So I was looking forward to this film. I wasn't mega hyped at the same level Bex was, but yeah, I knew it was going to be a good time. And also it's nice to have a big tentpole animated movie that's not for kids, Well, it is for kids in general, but you know what I mean. It's not just like Minions or whatever. And to see like, I was very excited to see like a different kind of animation on the big screen.
I forget, James, how much of a DC girl you are. I know we're talking about the Spider-Verse film,
Yeah,
but very quickly, are you looking forward to the Flash film?
I'm not seeing it.
Okay then. Yeah, no, that's fine. Totally understand.
I refuse to watch anything Ezra Miller thing. I'm just going to watch the Michael Keaton bits on YouTube.
I totally get you. Yep, that's fine.
Yeah.
Let's we'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that. I somewhat have seen so I've seen all the Spider-Man live films. I haven't seen any animation things like that. So I'm not like a massive Spider-Man Spider-Man fan, but I really enjoyed of all the live action films, Spider-Man Homecoming with Tom Holland. I think that was like a really good iteration of the Peter Parker storyline. But I've been very disappointed with the two sequels. And I'll bring more of my opinion about the two sequels, especially No Way Home, later on. But as Bex has said, Into the Spider-Verse for me just blew my mind, and I was so excited when I knew when the the second part was coming out. I literally booked tickets on the date it released. I had to lie to my sister to say to my nephew, "Yeah, we'll go and see it on the Sunday." Yep. I hadn't seen it before. No. So yeah, I did actually eventually had to fess up, but yeah, we'll leave it at that. So I think now you've got our excitement level for this film. I think we need to talk about it in full. So on that, I will give the resident Spidey expert to go first. So, what good did you see in this film? You don't have to give one answer. You can give multiple answers if you want, and we can all discuss to see if we agree with you, how much we love that part, and so on and so on.
Okay. First of all, the first thing that I'm really impressed with, and not many people will notice this unless they go back and watch it, is the frames in which every Spider-Man is in, dependent on their attitude. So the frame rate of Miguel O'Hara and everyone else is 1 frame. Miles is 2 frames. And then Spider-Punk is 3 frames. And I absolutely love the fact that they all have different actions upon different frames. I'm sounding like a massive nerd right now, but it's just how fast the comics move. And it also just shows the sort of in Miles' case, it shows where he doesn't belong in, but then he does. I don't know. It's a little bit of nerdiness for you there to start off with.
Oh, I had to find that out later on. So what Beck's saying is that for every movement, majority of the Spidey people move on each frame, so on 1 frame. For Miles, when he was into the Spider-Verse, every movement was every 2 frame. So for his movement, it was 2 frames and then a movement, 2 frames then a movement. When it became Spider-Man himself, I think I read or saw somewhere that he then became 1 frame, so to give that illusion of he's actually caught up. He now understands, being a Spider-Man. He's like as equal as everyone else. But the Hobie thing, Spider-Punk, oh my god, they went, how are we going to do this? How are we going to do this? We'll do it on 3. Brilliant, guys. Let's do it. And I didn't even notice it, but it does make sense. I want to tag on to the back of your one, Bex. I just think as a whole, the visual aesthetic of that film was mwah.
Oh, it's stunning.
It's
The
absolutely beautiful.
watercolors, the colouring for each Spider-Man as well. I don't know if you noticed, Gwen's colour palette is her outfit is pink, white, grey and blue, and they're the colour palettes that they use. I just love it.
What I loved particularly about Gwen is like the use of colour in relation to her mood. Like,
Yes.
especially in the scenes like she's quite like sad, especially like the reunion with her dad. Oh, it was just absolutely stunning the way they use colour throughout that. And if it doesn't get an Oscar for that, I don't know what's up with the Academy.
No, I 100% agree.
Oh my god, that reminds me, I need to go down the bookies to put my money on that, because that will win awards. That will win awards. No, again, it's not just that it's a masterpiece in itself. It's the fact that they took a style. And again, I'm going to break. I think you can hear our excitement straight away. I love this film so much that I mean, for me to see this film twice in 1 week just says it all. I think the fact that they just get not just one style and, they do another style and another style, but not just... So in Into the Spider-Verse, each character had its style, not the environment. Whereas this film, they take the environment and make it, they do different styles within the environment. Like when they go to, is it Moonbata?
Yeah.
Again, the look of that whole universe, just, it flipped on its head and things like that. I just love it. So I will say this straight away. For me, everything about this film that I love, it's not cranked it up to 11. It's just cranked up higher and better and more. Every element that I love about it, and I just so yeah. Sorry, I'm babbling so much. Bex, take back over. Go.
I love the fact that they flesh out the characters more. So, as you say, Miles is more confident now. So, right in the beginning, he's that cocky ass sort of student, and that's what I love about Miles. Miles is definitely my favorite Spider-Man, hands down, and will always be over Peter Parker. I love that they fleshed him out more. I love the fact as well when they reintroduced everyone that Gwen got her story in first, and I like that she took the forefront a little bit more. What I do love as well is that the comedy between each of the characters really made me giggle. Now, there's just one little line that Gwen says that made me... I was in stitches because I relate to Gwen so much. I've cosplayed every different thing, like variant as Gwen as much as I can, and new suits on the way, by the way. But it's just that one line where she turns round. I think she goes to the I can't remember the lady's name off the top of my head. I think it's Jessica Drew.
Jessica Drew?
Yeah, that's it.
Jessica Drew, yeah, oh yes.
Yeah, she turns round at one point and goes, "Adopt me." And I was just like, oh my god, it's me! Shit! And I just was like, I love it. I just love her attitude. And then all the Easter eggs in Gwen's room as well. I have nothing against the narrative that it is that she is trans. I just think there are loads and loads of facts that go behind it that people are misconstruing. But otherwise, I mean, you do you. I'm just happy that Gwen's getting so much love, because as much as I love her to pieces, she deserves it.
I will follow up what you just said about the trans flag, because I did notice on the second time watching, I went, oh, that's interesting, and then saw all these comments about it. But I'll take what Mark Hamill was asked about Luke Skywalker. So a fan did ask, is Luke Skywalker gay? And all his response was, if you think he's gay, then he's gay.
I 100% agree.
Yeah.
So if you believe in that universe, in the Spider-Verse film, Gwen is... Because there's a lot of videos out there. I've got to be careful how I say this. There's a lot of videos out there who have put the evidence saying, this is why we think she's trans. Da-da-da-da-da. I've heard some of them, and I've gone, okay, I can see that. But each to their own, like Beck said, if you think she is a trans character, I am for it. If, it doesn't matter what I think. If you think she's trans, great, because I do believe in representation. I do believe we do need more of this, we need more visualization of this in the real world, in media type of thing. That's what I'm trying to say. So that's all I will just say about that. I was going to mention this in the bad. I do... Oh god, Bex is going to hate me for this. I love, for some reason... Okay. This is going to break our friendship.
Use your words.
I know. I love every scene of Gwen in that film, but I also felt that at times she was a bit too much of the focal point of the film. And there's just... I'm not saying there's too much of her, because if my friend Neil was here, he'll say there's just not enough of... I do want to believe that they're testing it to say, once these films are done, there will be a spin-off of a Spider-Gwen animation film of some sort. I would love to see that.
I'm going to counteract your point and say that's done on purpose, but I will mention that later on.
Okay, that's fine. But did anyone just hear?
Yeah. What was that?
I think that's my neighbour having an orgasm, but
Bit warm for that.
really warm.
Wow, that was loud. Oh, Eddie, leave that bit in.
No, I'm definitely cutting that bit out.
I think he left it his bit in.
Yeah. Anyway, what was I saying? I'm going to quickly move it to Jen's because I want her to like mention what she likes about the film, and then I want to. I can't wait to like me to unfold everything.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it because obviously there was like Spider-Man literally everywhere, and then I say we've already had a bit of this in other films coming up, but I think they've done it right because not only do you have like a better story and plotline to follow, I think it's just like the level of care, love, attention to detail to put into each of them, whether it's like the art style, the characterization, the cheeky little Easter eggs and references. I think that just all made it such like a rich, wonderful like palette to draw from and watch on screen. It was just everything was completely interesting and nothing got too busy, which I think is what MCU in real time is getting a bit distracted by. They think, oh, let's just chuck everything at the wall, and then it just becomes a big sloppy mess, where this was clearly a grand scale, but everything was meticulously thought out and nothing was throwaway, and that's what I really liked about it.
100% agree with you with everything. So here's my controversial point about No Way Home. I came out of that film disappointed because there were so many rumors. Well, I say rumors. It's like we all knew the two Spider-Men of Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield were going to be in it. It was like an open secret. Yeah. And if I didn't know that, I think the use of their characters didn't feel like it mattered at all, and I just felt the storyline was just a bit lacking. And I know live action is a lot harder to portray what happens in the comics or in animation. Because if you look at Civil War, I remember reading that comic front to back, and thought, wow, this is a big epic storyline. I can't wait to see this on the big screen when Marvel announced it, and then it was just 10 people. I'm like, oh, that's a bit of a disappointment. So I understand live action is going to be hard anyway. But in this, when they have every, I'll say it one more time, every iteration of Spidey people on screen. You've had people from, the Insomnia game. You've got characters from, like, you've got the, cameo from Donald Glover as the Prowler in the. I'm just gonna assume it's the Tom Holland universe.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Is it been confirmed? Okay, all right, okay. And then you got it's Peter Parkard. I mean, what the hell? It's a car. It's a car.
I lost my shit when that came on.
Yeah, and then you got a dinosaur Spidey, a cat.
Oh, the cats from the games. Oh, that made me so happy.
Yeah.
Oh my god, someone with a paper bag on their head. You've got red hair, white side, red front. What's her name?
Spin it.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, you got her in it. You got literally every version. I think there's a British version of it. I mean, just the attention of care of that each character. I recently found out that scene, or the Spider Society, it's called, took 4 years to animate.
God.
4 years. No wonder they kept pushing back that film. I don't care now.
Because they were all in different frames as well.
I know, it is so good, and God, yeah, just so good, yeah. Sorry, I'm trying to think what else, James, you mentioned, but no, I totally agree with the attention to care. I mean, Bex, do you want to jump in a little bit?
I love the fact that they put each universe comic up on the screen as soon as you went into each universe as well. It's like, yeah, go back and read Universe 92, or go back and read Universe this and Universe that, and it's just like, you can then go into your favourite comic book shops and just go and purchase the comics and read them, which I 100% you should go and do about Universe 42. Please, for the love of God, go and purchase it, because you'll understand.
42. I wonder if that has any significance about this film. Anyway, was there anything else you want to mention about the Across the Spider-Verse before I jump in?
The soundtrack. I
meant Gems.
Oh, sorry,
Oh.
Gems.
I just want to say the best character in this entire film is Spider-Punk.
Yes,
I love him.
100%.
I love him so much, and I cannot wait to see what he does next.
Such an anarchist. I mean, if only he was designed that way. I loved him as well. It took me ages to work out who.
Yeah, it was bugging me. I was like, I know that voice.
No, I couldn't.
And then I saw the credits. I was like, oh, it's that guy.
See, I didn't recognize his voice one bit. I was just like, what? Daniel, who's that? I can't pronounce his last name, so I'm just not gonna.
Daniel Kaluuya.
Thank you very much. And I went, no. And as soon as I Googled him afterwards, I was just, what the fuck? Oh my goodness. Oh. Anyway, I think Bex had an extra bit she wanted to jump in with.
Sorry. I'm too excited. I listened to the soundtrack on repeat. I 100% in my whole heart and souls feel that this soundtrack was 10 times better than the first Into the Spider-Verse movie. I'd only have 3 songs on repeat for Into the Spider-Verse. And Across the Spider-Verse, I've listened to the entire album and the deluxe version over and over again. But with this one, I can see each song in each scene of the movie without watching the movie again, which is really nice.
Is this? Are you talking about the soundtrack by Metro? Is it Metro Boomer?
Retro Booming, yeah. Metro Booming does the first soundtrack, but there's a deluxe edition where there is all of the music, which is the orchestral stuff, as well as there's other songs on there as well. Because my favourite one is by Dominic Flick, which is Mona Lisa. I absolutely love that song, and that's not been put on Metro's album.
Right, I'm going to counter you.
Okay.
I will counter you. I don't think the actual soundtrack in Across the Spider-Verse is as good as Into the Spider-Verse. I think Post Malone's songs are more recognisable, it fitted with the whole environment, and just like we the 3 tracks I love, Sunflower, What's Up Danger for me, that one scene on its own had me in tears one time. I don't know why. I just watched it and I just felt so emotional watching that scene. And the end credits, now I need to find out what that song's called. As much as I love it, and I now can't remember it. I just found that the second one by Metro Boom, it wasn't.
But with your counterpoint, I'll counter that counterpoint. You've
Go
just
on,
named
then.
3 songs out of that soundtrack.
Yeah.
That's exactly the same as what
Elevate. That's what
Elevate,
Elevate,
Danger, and Sunflower. They're the only 3 rememberable songs from that one. With this one, you've got Annihilate, Dreamin', All the Way Live, Danger, Silk and Cologne, Link Up.
No.
Oh my god, there are so many more songs in this that want to get you up and dancing. I don't know.
No, I just felt it didn't quite fit. But what I was going to say is the musical score used in it. I've been listening to that. So that's all right. So that's composed by Daniel Pemberton. Yes. I've been listening to that on repeat, going to and from work. I'm now becoming a bit of a Gwen fan now because her track's in it. Gems, you'll know when I'm gonna say this. If I said the Wonder Woman, Sting music, you know what I mean straight away.
Yeah, it's in my head.
As soon as I said it, you heard it in your head, right?
Yeah.
I think Gwen's got that now. When the guitar kicks in and the drumming. Okay, so the last bit of music you hear before the credit hits, it's called Start a Band.
Yeah.
Oh, that track for me had me full of tension, full excitement, and it just builds and builds and builds.
Do you want to know the fact about that?
Wait, okay, hold on a sec. And because it's right at the end, and then it comes to the to be continued. It built my excitement, my adrenaline. I was like, yes, give me more! And I just love that tune. Go for it, Bex.
I'm so happy that you're so excited about that piece of music. That piece of music is intentionally written, and if you go back and listen to it again, You've got Miles' theme tune underneath.
Yeah.
You've then got the Prowler on top. Then you've got Gwen's drums that come in. Then you've got Hobie's guitar. And then you've got Penny's, Peter B. Parker's and all that on top of it.
Yeah.
That comes in. But Hobie's track is the entirety throughout that. Literally, it plays consistently, and then the Prowler noise goes away.
Oh yeah,
There's a theory with that.
Yeah, honestly, I didn't realize that everyone's in. I knew it had some elements because if you listen to the first track when Gwen is banging on the drums, the exact same rhythm as is in Starter Band, and I mean, yeah, I can pick that up. Hear the Prowler, I can hear this, I can hear that. Didn't realize I had everything put in. Oh my god, yes. Oh god. I actually, I think it's about time I will say something about what's good, but I can't think anything more good about this film that you guys haven't mentioned. Actually, do you know what? I will say this now. I believe this storyline. I know it's one half of a story, but if you see this as on its own, even with I've always said this: do not make films not knowing you're going to get you can film the second half of it or the next part of it. I hate films that do that. Like Alita, Battle Angel. That's my perfect example. It kind of ends on a cliff. It doesn't. You can watch that film solitary on its own. But it does this little thing of like saying, hey, this could be in the next film, get ready. And you're going, oh, does that explain what's going on with this world? And it never has been greenlit for a sequel. And it pisses me off that they did that thinking they were going to get it, but they haven't got it. Even if Across the Spiderverse didn't get that, we've definitely got a second film coming, or the second part coming. I think that film on its own is a masterpiece in storytelling. For me, the way that it progresses through each character, each universe, you know what's going on at every point. The signal, the styling, the music used. You can tell when you're in Gwen's universe. You can tell when you're in. Oh, I'm going to call him Spider-Man India. I don't want to butcher his name. And, those type of when you're in different people's universes, visually it's so good. But the storytelling as well, it's even as good. Like there's so many Easter eggs. I can't wait to purchase this and just watch it frame by frame, and just watch it as for both a visual point of view as well as story point of view. Like you were saying, Bex, about listening to the soundtrack. When I listen to the music score, I can hear where that type of scene comes from, and I can't think of any scene that I sat there thinking, "Oh my god." I don't know what's going on. Every part, every scene had me going. It's a 2.5 hour film. I didn't even notice it. It just flew by for me, and I just want more. It left me wanting more, and I think that's a great film, a great storyline that it left me wanting more rather than like, oh, is that it? Well, just one point before we move on to something else. Did everyone know this was a part 1?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know the amount of people I've spoken to? I think we're the only 3 people that knew it was a part 1. Everyone else went, "Oh, is it a 2-part?"
As soon as someone turned around and said to me, "There's no post credits," I'm like, "That's Marvel telling me that there's going to be a cliffhanger and there's going to be a part 2."
I just found it weird that because I knew that from the first teaser trailer, and I think Bex, you must have known as well then.
Yeah.
Because to be fair, I think I sent you the trailer for it.
Yeah, you did.
I mean, I know who my Spidey people are. I know who to send trailers to. It's weird that not a lot of people knew, and it's just weird. Anyway, is it all right if I move on to the bad?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I'm going to still stick to my one because I didn't think I had not say a fair crack because everyone else kind of said what they want to say. I want to say, as much as I love this film, I still had this when I watched it for the second time. Not as badly, but I did have this on the second time watching it. I felt this film, I'm not saying should have ended sooner, but it felt like the last, I would say 15 minutes of the film felt like it was going to end and then something else popped up. You felt, okay, that's going to end. No, then something else popped up. Don't get me wrong, that final scene, again, we already did the spoiler caution at the beginning, so we're going to say it now. The reveal of as I said, I don't know much about, Earth 42, all these other Spideyverse universe. So I came in there with a real blank slate to see the Earth 42 Prowler appear, and it's the mirror image of Miles Morales. Oh my God, it's like, it was so good. But the scenes before that, I think, what was it, Gwen getting, visiting the parents and all. Oh my God, that's the other thing I forgot to mention about the good. The parents, the characterization of the parents are so good. Rio is just a great mother. Anyway, I just want to quickly say that. I just felt that the last 15 minutes just went on a little bit too long, trying to give us false endings to get to that ending. If you get what I'm saying.
I get what you're saying, because I had that similar feeling. Like, there's a scene happening, I think, and you feel like it's building up to a moment, and I'm like, it's going to finish in a minute. And then it carried on. I was like, we're not done yet. We're not done yet. But I wouldn't necessarily say that was bad, but I did get that feeling as well.
If you're not looking out for the Easter eggs that they're hiding, yeah, it can feel like that, and I will agree with you. There is a reason why it is longer, though, in terms of that. Do you want me to say now?
Yeah, go for it. I mean, we've done the spoiler warning, so yeah.
Cool. The number 42 is in the film 42 times, and in order to get to the number 42, they need to make it as long as the 42 scenes that they've got in the film. So there's 42 scenes in the film, and then there's 42 Easter eggs, and the last 42 is when Miles Morales' Prowler smacks Miles Morales in the face, and the number appears across the teeth. Because it's literally Universe 42 smacking you in the face.
That's cool.
It is very cool.
That's what I'm saying. This is how good this film is. There's so many hidden messages, Easter eggs. It's going to take ages to pull apart. I mean, I watch videos like Looper on YouTube, and they do like all the Easter eggs. I don't think they've not even cracked the surface. I think they've looked at the surface. We'll just leave it at that. Just there's so much in depth. I honestly, I don't even think the directors know how many Easter eggs there are, and just love it.
Yeah, I follow Nerdist, who do the same thing when films like this come out. They'll usually do an Easter egg video within a few days of release, and they've still not posted one yet, and I think it's just too much work.
There are a lot in this.
Yeah, but yeah, but that's my only real bad about the film. Like I said, everything about that film for me, as I said, the only two bads for me is just kind of like the prolonged ending, but also the soundtrack. Again, I just didn't think it fitted the vibe. I think because I hold those three songs and the others so close to my heart that it didn't quite hit the mark for me. But I mean, each their own. Gems, I want you to jump in for your bad.
I don't really have anything bad, to be honest.
That's fine. That's not a problem.
I really liked it.
Oh, don't worry. You wait until we get to the ugly. That's going to be interesting.
Oh, no.
Bex, what about you? Is there anything? As much as you're a Spider-Man fan. You're excited about this film. Is there anything bad about this?
I think I briefly touched upon it earlier, but other than that, I don't think there's any bad. My comment is mainly on the ugly, but it's fine.
Okay. Well, I don't know if I should bring this up because the video's been taken down now. I came across this TikToker who moaned about it so much. Yeah, he said, we came out of it laughing. I almost went, fuck you. I almost did. I hate seeing these Stitch commenters, coming after it. And I was going, one of the things they said was, there's so much representation in this film. It's like, oh my God, there's only like 3 white people in it. I went, motherfucker!
Wow.
You've literally had 9 other Spider-Man film, all white people. And I'm not having a go at that, but I'm just saying there's at least one commenter like that, and I'm just saying, you fucking missed the point. Bex, you were saying about how you think Miles Morales is the better or the best Spider-Man around.
Miles Morales is our generation Spider-Man, compared to what Peter Parker is. While I love Peter Parker and his original story, without him, we wouldn't have had any Spider-Man.
100%, yeah.
Miles comes from a Latino background and he's struggling in Brooklyn. He makes his own ends meet, and you can tell that he is a struggling teenager trying to just work out the world. Peter Parker seems like although Uncle Ben, bless his soul, and he's living with his aunt because his parents tragically were lost. It seems like Peter Parker is more spoon-fed and is more on a silver platter and everything given to him. He went to a really good university. He went beyond to be a science student, met lovely women along the way, whereas Miles has to work for it. And that's so much more relatable to the lower class sort of, or middle class people. Because
he's just more very relatable.
He is very relatable. And he's funny. His powers are so much better. I just think I just love Miles. I can't say a bad thing about him. His whole character, the way he's written, is just beautiful.
I was going to say I agree with you that, because, as I said, I've seen the live action films mainly, and I remember seeing the 90s Spider-Man show, and I think similar to like the Batman argument, we don't need to see another Batman origin story. We've done it. We've seen it all. It's kind of the same thing about that. It's like Peter Parker. I've seen it. I don't care anymore. I'm not saying I don't care, but it's like I kind of already can. And this is probably my issue with the No Way Home. Is like, it's Peter Parker. We kind of all know his struggles and things like that. We've already filled it in our heads, that storyline. For me, as Miles Morales, because he's so fresh to me, he's new to me. I don't know anything about him. Everything he does seems so new to me and feels relatable. Though I'm not a teenager anymore, I remember having those teenager feelings that he had. When he's talking about girls, talking to his parents, holding secrets, things like that. I totally, though I wasn't a superhero and swinging around saving my hometown, it's for me still very relatable and things like that. Like even Gwen herself, it's just very relatable. I don't care when I say this out loud. The bit where she goes back to her universe and she's confronted by her dad and they have a real heart-to-heart moment. On the second viewing of that film, I was in tears watching that film, watching that scene.
I had to contain myself. I welled up a little bit.
Oh, no.
So relatable to family life. It's just, it hit home and it was like, I'm going to cry.
Yeah. My sister next to me looked at me and went, what the hell's going on? Don't look at me. Don't talk to me. Let me have this moment. And yeah, I was just, because, nothing's happening with my family at the moment, but I do miss my parents. I love them, and to see that affection on screen, it really relates to me a lot currently at the moment. So for me, that was, that's why I broke down in tears, and that's what I mean. But for me, it's very relatable and things like that. Whilst I remember, I find one thing is it's more of a nitpick than anything else. I thought Miles already had his canon moment.
No,
and I know there's a theory that the Miles is it's 1610.
1610, yeah.
1610. That the so-called original timeline of Peter Parker canon event has already happened. So therefore, the Miles Morales canon event shouldn't have happened, so therefore doesn't count. And the canon event that should have happened in Earth 42 is still to come. But still, I'm just like, I just thought that, I don't know. I'm assuming if one spider passes away, another will take its place, and they will still need to have a canon event. I'm not too sure. I'm just spitballing a little bit. I mean, could someone help me a little bit?
In terms of a Spider-Man passing away and then another Spider-Man, no. If a Spider-Man passes away, that's the end of that universe with that hero in it. In terms of the canon event for Miles, without spoiling, I think we've gone into a lot of spoilers. We haven't had the canon event, especially for Universe 42 at the moment. We haven't had the canon event. And in Miles's universe, I don't know if we're allowed to go into Beyond the Spider-Verse.
Well, okay, yet. So, if you want to hear our theories about Beyond Spider-Verse, we're going to do a podcast extra on that. So if you want to hear theories about that, because I've got a few theories that I've seen and I agree with, but we'll hold it for that. But we just want to do the review of it. But so let's try to keep it as the review and analyze some of the known facts about the film.
His canon event hasn't happened yet, known fact.
James, did you ever get lost of all these canon events, the storylines, things, or because of the comic nerd that we all are, you kept up with it?
Yeah, I kept up with it fine because, again, the gist of it I got was canon event was equally the Uncle Ben moment. Obviously the character is interchangeable, but if someone prominent in that Spider-Man's life dies, that's just the general gist I got. And I'm like, that's fine. And I just wanted to say also, part of the funness of watching this film is not only visually stunning, you feel like you are watching a comic book, because not only is all the cool art style and that, but they did have little text boxes at points to explain stuff or something very quickly.
God, yeah.
And so that was a great way of making sure the audience keeps up if they're not fully behind it. So yeah, I don't think any of that got lost at any point.
Yeah, talking about the animation. I know we're supposed to be talking the bad, but clearly there's not much of it. I saw a video that showed how they do that comic book and styling in animation, where they do. I think it was Miguel. He's running up the train with his claws, and there's a motion of a slow when he's reaching up, and then a fast motion down as it would be in a comic book. And it just small details like that. It's chef kiss. Did anyone see the news headlines that of all superhero films, Across the Spiderverse scores the highest on IMDb? It scores at 9.1. The next one down is The Dark Knight. And I'm not saying I disagree with that. I think both those films are very high up there. I don't know how I could decide, because I do hold the Nolan films very close to my heart. Because I am a Batman fan, I do love DC. I love both franchises equally, but Batman for me. I think both those two films, I can't separate them because they're both different. There's such a different storyline, the way it's filmed, the way it's told, and all that. But I do agree they're so good. Do you agree that this is the best? It is up there. It deserves to be up there.
Yeah, as I posted this on my story when I saw it on Friday, and it's one of the greatest superhero films of all time.
Oh,
yeah,
agreed.
Yeah, and it's only part one.
Yeah,
and I think that says a lot. That it's done all of this in part one, and we still got a second half to go. And I just can't wait. We are dangerously getting close to the end of the podcast, and we've done a lot of good, done some bad. I mean, hang on, have we done your bad bet? No, we have done your bad bet.
So let's not that ugly.
No, let's do the ugly then. Okay. Let's do the ugly then.
Okay, there's not enough Miguel O'Hara ass screen time. There you go.
Yes.
I mean, we can tell Jessica Drew to adopt me, but literally Miguel be my daddy. There we go.
As an Oscar Isaac stan, I fully support this.
Yep.
I didn't think that was coming.
Miles is my favourite Spider-Man, but Miguel is visually beautiful. Visually stunning.
I am so unprepared by their answer. It's unbelievable.
Sorry, Eddie.
That's fine. I don't remember seeing his ass a lot.
No, it needs to be there a lot more.
No, that's
what I'm saying.
Okay, at all. And okay. What's particularly about his rear end, his derriere? That's
so much better than Tom Holland's.
Yeah, he's actually got cake.
Yep.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Did anyone see? Because I've been rewatching Into the Spider-Verse and the end credits and things like that. It's really interesting they've not stuck to their own canon, because there's a sequence where Spider-Gwen defeats is it Lizard? Which turns into Peter Parker.
Yeah.
It looks like that's done in a factory, whereas the Across the Spiderverse has done it as part of a prom dance. Miguel in the end credits shows that he's actually a slimmer build. It's not as beefcaked up with a cake ass, as someone would say.
Mm-hmm.
There's a few differences. Also, when Miles is in his bed listening to the song Sunflower, and then the portal opens with going, "Hey Miles, got a sec?" That's all different as well. Miles is just wearing a plain white shirt. In the film, he's wearing his Brooklyn, I'm going to say, basketball jersey.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really interesting that the directors have just gone, as much as that's a set canon in that universe, in that storyline, fuck it, let's change it a little bit. And I don't care for it. I love that they changed it. I think sometimes we are a bit we're so scrutinizing the small details that we can't just let it go and go, if it progresses the storyline in a positive way, I'm all for change. Even if it breaks detailed canon like that, I don't care. For me, it did not spoil the film one little bit.
So in terms of Gwen, she fights the lizard man twice. There are 3 comics on it. And then the second time is when she actually kills him. Accidentally. That's the only version, or the only Spider-Gwen version, or Gwen Stacy version, that Gwen does the killing. Whereas the famous line of, in every other universe, Gwen Stacy falls in love with Spider-Man, and in every universe, it doesn't go well. That's because when Gwen Stacy falls in love with Spider-Man, she's the one that always ends up dead. Whereas that's the only universe when she fights Lizard is the only one where she kills someone else. I can't answer your t-shirt one. That seems like a blip on that type of thing.
No, that's fine. No, I'm just saying. Like I said, it between the two films, if people are going to nitpick, they go, "Oh, this is not how it was depicted in Into the Spider-Verse." I don't care.
Yeah,
I really don't care, and I just love everything about it. It's like small. Again, the amount of small detail. Did you notice? Well, I say notice. This had to be explained to me when Miles' mom Rio snaps at him. But I go, "Hey, you're getting a B in Spanish." When she snaps her fingers, it shows the Puerto Rico flag where she is from. I love that. It's small little details like that. Let's stick to the ugly for a bit whilst I remember. Did everyone sit at the end of the credits thinking there was something?
Yeah.
no.
I kind of did. Don't talk about theories, but just let's talk about the title of Beyond the Spider-Verse. Do you like it? Do you think it fits what the next story could be?
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
Honestly, I think, like I said, I had to message my friend saying, I'm creating these like TikTok videos, and I don't know if I could use this title. Where, oh no, it's already been out. It's been out like 1 week before the film release. Like, oh really? Cool. Bam, send it. And I just I can't. Like I said, I was like hanging out with my sister and my nephew again today, and she said, "Oh, I really would like to get into an aircon room." I said, "Well, we could go to the cinema if you like. We could go see a film. We could watch Across the Spiderverse again."
What's he without the Little Mermaid? So
Oh god, yeah. Let's not talk about that. The controversy that film is getting at the moment for no reason, from what I can tell. But honestly, I would pay money again to see it for the third time. I probably shouldn't. I'm going to end up buying it. I've already said to myself, I have to buy this film twice now. One for myself and one for my nephew for his Christmas present.
Bless. I went to a VIP cinema viewing for it.
Do you want to talk about that? Someone got invited to a very VIP experience. I had to sit there in the middle of the night watching it in London.
I want to thank Zotac for inviting me to a VIP premiere to see Into the Across the Spiderverse. I was invited as a cosplayer to the event, so thank you very much, Zotac.
Yeah. Do you know the one thing we haven't spoken about, actually, whilst I remember, and I'll get Jem's view on this first. Did everyone really underestimate the villain, the Spot?
Oh, I meant to talk about this earlier. This is when you were talking about we've seen Peter Parker's story 1800 times, so we see it again.
Yeah,
and that's why it's nice to see Miles and Gwen's stories. It's nice to see a different villain. It's not the fucking Green Goblin again or whatever. It's taken this B-class Spider-Man villain and made him something actually quite terrifying by the end of the film. It's so
absolutely.
cool.
I when I watched it for the first time, I was trying to like cryptically tell my sister without saying I've already seen it. I was like, I don't know if my nephew would actually be okay with this. I thought he'd be scared. I remember watching him the whole film. He sat on literally the edge of his seat watching it, leaning forward, catching every detail, even when the spot came up. And he's like, his storyline. I think we all thought he's such a joke. What a fucking joke. But he became more and more menacing throughout the whole film. I did expect another villain to pop up and be the actual villain, or like Miguel was going to be the villain itself. But I don't think in itself there's a true villain per se. Yeah, it's the Spot, but in a sense, there's so much going on that actually there's not really a villain per se. I think everyone's done bad because we don't. Okay, no, I'm going to leave that for the podcast extra. Bex, you have to remind me about 42 Prowler, okay?
Okay. I'm definitely going to remind you about that.
But I mean, like, Bex, what? How did you take the Spot as a villain? Well, villain of the week.
I love the Spot. He's such an underrated villain, and the moment I saw him on the screen, I think it's the first moment with the ATM machine where he got stuck. I was pissing myself laughing because I was like, I know you're gonna turn into something really, really horrible because you have in the comics. But literally, it was nice to see because he's never had a prequel story. Like, you don't know his origin story really. He's always been the menacing thing right at the end. So it was nice to see that it was technically human-ish to begin with, because he's a klutz and doesn't know what he's doing. He's got these newfound powers that weren't really bestowed upon him by choice. It was quite funny because you, at the whole time, you just underestimate him and think, oh, it's okay because Miles is just going to kick his ass like he kicks everyone else's ass. And no, he's not. He's not a very nice person.
Honestly, I grew to not say as an adult fear him, but if I was a child watching that, I went, oh fuck me. Obviously, not a child will say fuck me, but I said, oh fuck, Jesus Christ, that is
Slender
scary.
Man vibes, hasn't he? Really?
Oh yes,
a bit, yeah, yeah. There's loads of theories that this was telegraphed. That when Miles gets his he does the graffiti with his uncle Aaron.
Mhm.
You know that towards the end of that sequence, they spray paint the white line around his body, and then they look at it. If you look at that scene again, it's a white outline with a black backing to it with little like markings, which resembles the Spot at the end of Across the Spiderverse. I'm like, oh my god, the Easter eggs in this film is like blowing my mind. If it is truly like mirroring those type of scenes, like, oh my god. Anyway.
But no, I agree with you. The mural has spots at the back of it on the left-hand side.
Yeah.
Going back to if you haven't seen Into the Spider-Verse, and although you can watch Across the Spider-Verse purely 100% without watching the first one, did you notice the Spidey senses changing in the first movie?
Oh my god! I didn't notice that until I saw a video about it. I mean, James, do you know what we're talking about?
Not to be honest, no.
Okay, so we'll make this the last thing we talk about. So when Miles meets Peter in his universe for the first time, when the Spidey goes off, it's red and blue for Peter, but for Miles, it's purple and green, which then switches to red and blue to match Peter's. I think there's a commentary about it that's saying that's his fate changing, because we all know, again, we've already done spoilers. At the end of the film, when Miles realizes he's not back on his Earth of 1610, he's actually on Earth 42, where the original Spider came from, which bit him. He then meets the Prowler from Earth 42. Because he's the mirror image of himself, and he's the Prowler. The 1610 Miles fate change. I mean, I love that small little detail. Oh my god! Sorry.
So
Bex, take over quick.
It's the colour throughout the whole film. So the first film is predominantly filmed in green and purple. And then halfway through, as soon as his uncle gets shot, it goes blue to red quite quickly. The but that's more of the 3D backing. So the 3D colors that are used, and if you've watched Into the Spider-Verse in 4D, you'll notice that it's green and purple in the 3D first, and then goes to blue and red after, which I found was such a little Easter egg, but makes so much more sense now.
Absolutely. Like, I don't know if they had this plan from. I mean, it had to be. It had to be planned from the start. No way you put this much detail in the first film to put into the sequel that may or may not happen.
Well, it was going to be a 3-parter.
Well, you say. I mean, like, was it when it first came out? The first opening weekend, it only made what 35 million or something like that. Some ridiculous small number. But obviously, momentum grew, picked up, and everyone's to be talking about it. Got rave reviews and all that. For it to have a sequel to get opening weekend, I don't know if it's international or domestic in the States, but it earned 120 million.
This is true, but even money taken out of the consideration, it had a post-credit scene, and as you said, the Miguel that was used at the end of the post-credit scene looks nothing like the Miguel in the new one, and there's a reason for that.
Oh, is this something we can talk about now, or
no? This is
okay. We'll talk about
the
the next one.
extra
We'll talk
one.
about the next one. Yeah, that's fine. I think if Into the Spider-Verse ended where it did and didn't get a sequel, I'd still be happy because I think that in itself is a masterpiece. But I'm so glad this film exists, and I'm glad I was able to talk this film with two people who've watched it and enjoyed it as much as I did. I don't know if I'm going to start ripping down my Harley posters, my Harley figurines, and replace them with like Spider-Man
Become a Miles fan.
and Gwen.
Become a Miles fan.
I think I will. I'm more of a Miles fan than a Peter Parker fan. So yeah. So anyway, I'm going to end the podcast because it's it's getting dangerous. I don't want to make this too long of a podcast. Like I said, if you want to hear our theories about what Beyond the Spider-Verse could mean, either from theories that have come from the comics or things that we've seen online, come to the podcast extra. We'll be discussing it there. But on that note, thank you very much, Bex and Jens. Thank you for being on the podcast. Again, do it alphabetically. Bex, where can they find you on the social medias?
Oh my gosh, you can find me on BexXX, or as some people like to call me, Bex.
I still think that's your fault.
No, it's not my fault. It's CJ's fault. I love you to pieces, CJ. But yeah, you can find me on social media, just BexXX.
Fantastic. Jens, where can they find you on the social medias?
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Gemzamia. That's JEMZAMIA. Post cosplay stuff I'm doing, and pictures of cats, because I have 2 lovely cats.
RuPaul stuff?
Yeah, drag shows, burlesque shows, anything shiny and sparkly.
Oh, do you know what? I keep forgetting to do this. If you want to do cosplay, let's do a quick cosplay synopsis. Yeah, there's fucking loads of them. You can just cosplay any Spider-Man. It'll be fine. It's all canon. It's all good. It's all good. I might just rock up with a paper bag on my head. Let's go with that. Anyway, if people need to find me on the social medias, if you go to foodandcosplay.org/links, you'll find all my social media links from TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. If you go to foodandcosplay.org generally, you'll find daily cosplay photos I've taken, plus articles, things like that. If you go to foodandcosplay.org/podcast, you'll find podcasts that I've recorded with these lovely ladies with different subjects. We're not always, tend to try to keep it cosplay and Comic-Con related, but I love doing these, like the everything else type of podcast where we can talk about movie reviews and things like that. And, it just changes things up a little bit for me. If you go to patreon.com/foodandcosplay, you can donate £2 to this podcast and hear this. Thank you, Charlotte, for this. It's going to be called Ed Still Talks About Podcast Extra. We're going to be talking about Beyond the Spider-Verse, what we think. And on that note, I'm just going to end the podcast. Ladies, thank you very much for being on the podcast. It's been enjoyable. I'm even smiling harder because I'm just so enjoying this. And yes. And on that note, I'm going to say goodbye and they're going to say goodbye. So, bye, guys!
Bye!
Ta-ra!
Twit. No? All right, fine.